The AFC West is about as lopsided as you can get for a division, but we'll go through it anyway because we're going to do our due diligence. We will start with the Denver Broncos. This is a team that's lined at 5.5 wins. They won 8 games last season, and they're expected to be favored in 2 games this season, underdogs in 15 others. This team has the number one as far as dead cap is concerned, and that is because of Russ. They're paying them 67.6 million. So when you're doing stuff like that, it's hard to add talent to this roster. They do have Bo Nix. We'll see. He should fit a little bit better into what the coach would like to do. Sean Payton wants you to get the ball out fast. Russell Wilson was kind of holding on to it a little longer than people would like. And we'll see how that fit works for Bo Nix. But it's a tough schedule for, you know, for a rookie quarterback. Second toughest schedule as far as pass defenses and the pass rush. So I don't like seeing that. This is a team with the net prep of -4, net rest -4. Schedule makers aren't doing them any favors. And the running back, we'll see. McLaughlin or yeah, McLaughlin. Um, I think he'll be a little bit better than Williams this year, but it's just not a whole lot to be optimistic for with this Denver Broncos team. Um, I could only, I can't bet this over and feel good about it. I could only look towards under the 5.5 wins. Next, and this will be probably the quickest division of them all because it is very lopsided. But next up, we have the juggernaut, the Kansas City Chiefs, back to back Super Bowl champions. Their win total is lined at 11.5. And looking at it, they did win 11 games last season. 11 games last season, wild card, or no, no, my bad. 11 games last season, and they had to take the hard route to make it all the way to the Super Bowl. Is what I was trying to say there. So, they're expected to be favorites in 15 games, underdogs in 2. There's a lot to like for this upcoming season for the Chiefs. Last year was a really tough schedule. They had 5 straight games where they were at a 2+ day rest disadvantage. This season, net rest +3. They have 5+ games at a rest advantage. So a lot easier for them in that regard. They did lose L'Jarius Sneed. Um, but looking at the defensive line, I think that's a big plus. They were second in sacks in 2023. They returned the entire defensive line. And there are some other pickups to be excited about. I mean, you add Hollywood Brown, who's a speedster. You get Xavier Worthy, who's another speedster. And you combine that with Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, another weapon. It should be a lot of, I mean, Patrick Mahomes has a lot more weapons, I feel like, with these couple guys coming into Kansas City. So you look at the games last season when they were at a rest disadvantage, they were 2-3 straight up, 1-4 against the spread. But the other games, they were 13-2 straight up, 12-3 against the spread. And they have a fairly easier schedule this season. So I'm liking the Chiefs. If I had to bet it, I'll go over the 11.5 wins, -120 there. They do have a stretch in the schedule where they play 3 games in 10 days, but it's the very end of the season. And this is where it gets tricky because you never know. They could have the division locked up. Like I said, very top heavy division. They may not have a whole lot to play for during that stretch of games. So it could get tricky. Still, talented enough, schedule's easy enough to get out of this season with 12 wins. Next, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. And this was a team that looked terrible. Then or I'm sorry, I'm getting carried away. I really don't like the Raiders either, so it doesn't take much for me to talk badly about them. Um, they open, or I'm sorry, their line at 6.5 wins. They're expected to be favored in 2 games, underdogs in 15. And last season, let's take a look here. Last season, they had 8 wins. So they started off the season really poor. They were 3-5. They fired Coach McDaniels. They hired Pierce, and everybody loved Pierce. They're playing hard for him. They finished the season really strong. But at the same time, look at who they were playing. There's a lot of backups sprinkled in there. I mean, not even sprinkled. They played 7 plus backups. You're not going to get that same luck this time around this season. As far as the quarterback is concerned, um, who is it going to be? Is it going to be Minshew? Is it going to be O'Connell? Regardless, neither one of them are good. So don't like anything there. They lack running back depth. It's just another team, not a whole lot to like about. So 6.5 wins. I don't feel like they're gonna have that same spark. You look at Pierce, he has some off field issues going on right now. We'll see how locked in they are and how that affects the team. But I can't bet the Raiders over the 6.5. Um, with just all these ways I feel about them, all these question marks. So the under is plus money plus 105. That's the only way I could bet it and feel, okay with my money being there. That's what I'll say. Last but not least, we'll move it on over to the LA Chargers. And Chargers are lined at 8.5 wins. Last season, they only had 5, so major disappointment. And their line last season was 9.5, so did drop down a little bit here. This one is interesting, and I have to be honest and tell you, this is my team. I've been very disappointed with them for a long time, and I'm trying to give them another chance. Just looking at it, trying not to be biased. Um, it's been a lot of bad coaching, a lot of bad coaches over the years, a lot of bad decisions made by the Chargers team. Also, a team that has dealt with a lot of bad injury luck. I mean, we did get rid of a couple guys, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, who are always injured, but those aren't the only ones. It's been a lot of, you know, injuries surrounding the Chargers year in and year out. Herbert, he's had some stuff he's had to deal with, so the injuries bother me. They did lose Austin Eckler, and as much as he's been good in a Charger uniform, he was a little bit on the decline. You add Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, and it makes sense. It should work for a coach, new coach, good coach, Harbaugh, who wants to have a power run game. That's the way he likes to play. And the Chargers do have the sixth easiest schedule of run defense this season. Thing I'll say is schedule makers, they didn't do the Chargers any favors. They have 6 games versus opponents with extra prep time. They have 0 games with extra prep time for themselves. Like, how does this happen? They only have 1 game all season with the rest advantage. I just, I feel like the Chargers got done a little bit dirty schedule wise, and just not a. I mean, how much do we trust Harbaugh to really turn it? Can Harbaugh do everything? It's kind of the question here, because outside of that, I honestly don't feel too optimistic about this team this season. So 8.5 wins. Under is plus 125. I could. Would I be surprised if they, start off with a winning season with Harbaugh? No, I would not. If they get 9 wins, I have a hard time seeing them get double-digit wins, and I could also see them, failing to have a winning season. So under would be the way I play for the Chargers. As far as division goes, I mean, it's one-sided. You can try to look for value all you want, but like I said, I don't see the Chargers having double-digit wins. The Raiders and Broncos, I think, are out of the question entirely. And the Chiefs have had double-digit wins, as long as I can remember Patrick Mahomes starting over there. Definitely the past 5 seasons, etc. So even in a year that seemed like a down year last year with a tough schedule, they got 11 wins. So I think there's a minus 230 for the Chiefs. That seems like the way to go. I mean, they've won the AFC West 8 times in a row. So division wise, I hate to give a juice favorite, but I don't want to just give losers. Obviously, if I have to pick another team who could maybe challenge, it'll be the Chargers. But I just talked about them, and you know how I feel. So I'm in the business of putting tickets in to win, and I still think that's a reasonable price. You have to wait a lot of time, laying juice to collect your money, but I think you damn sure will collect that money at the end of the day. And on that note, we'll move to best bets. Like I always say, or like I've been saying over these videos, all of my work is at Wagertalk.com. You can go back to beginning of 2023. I'm up over 100 units, all sports, and put a lot of work into getting ready, prepping for this NFL season. So I'm confident. It will translate to some winners. If you'd like to be involved, you know where to find me. The link is in the description to this video. And best bet, I just gotta, I don't like giving bets I haven't taken. And I'm looking at everybody except for the Chiefs leaning towards their under win total. And I'm leaning towards the Chiefs over the win total. The one thing I'll say is it could be a situation where a couple things happen. One, the Chiefs have run away so much in the division that they don't really care at the end of the season to go and get that 12th win. They already have locked up the AFC West. Or it's a team who maybe is not as focused as they should be to start the year and then pick it up as the season goes. And they still win the division. They just don't get 12 wins. So I can see either one of those happening. Like I said, they won the AFC West 8 times in a row. People are going to hate it. But like I said, I'm not here to make bets just, because I think it's a nice number. I want to make bets that win at the end of the day. So Chiefs to win the AFC minus 230. It is what it is. It's a winner. That would be the best bet for AFC West. You just bet it, kick your feet up, collect it at the end of the season.